I know one more for today, and then I'll be done, I think. um, I wanted to continue with um, breaking down your life. Because you know what? Our journey is pretty amazing if you think about it. If you really look at your childhood, adulthood, events that occurred, and where you are now. If you're not happy with where you are now, something happened within your life that caused that, believe it or not. But sitting down and really going through all the events that led up to who you are now is a very fascinating thing. And actually, it is kind of exciting because you can see growth, you can see change, you can see who you are as a person, and take an assessment. And if you're not happy, where was your happiest time? What were you doing in your happiest moment, in your happiest time compared to now? What changed? Yes, life happens, but what in particular changed? How are you not as happy as you were? You know, events happen, time happens, life happens, but what can we do to pick up at our best self and bring it back again? No, I've looked at all the events that have occurred in my life, and looking back, I can see growing up, the things that were going wrong, situations I could not control. But that's a problem. We hold on to that negative and we think that's oh my gosh, I'm a horrible person, I'm that. But it's not that you're a horrible person. You are a product of what you have lived through. Your story is the molding of what you've been through, and who you are now reflects on what you've been through. So if you sit down and you really take assessment of each event, each moment, what happened? What happened that made you who you are now? Is it negativity from the past because you've been told negative things and so you have a tendency of judging? And yeah, it's hurtful. It's hurtful to sit down and really go through who you are because you can see yourself and you don't want to see yourself in a negative light, but change can happen, but it starts with you. So if you remember events that weren't your fault, but and I'm a victim, and no, that's, are you a victim? Or is it you didn't let go of that event because it's poisoning you, so you're not being who your true self is? You know, they talk about true self, true self, true self. That's what true self is. True self is getting to know who you're supposed to be and you not being afraid to show you. But are you happy with the you that you are showing? If you're not, you have to take that apart. You know, we can go to doctors. We can say, Doc, this is the problem. What do I do? Here's your answer. But it's a cookie cutter cutout answer. Unfortunately, yes, you can be one to one with somebody and you could talk to a doctor, but doctors are schooled in a certain way. That's why you have conversation. That's why you say, okay, this is what I'm trying to deal with. This is what I'm trying to break. This is what I'm trying to do. How do I do? What are the steps? And the cookie cutter cutout idea of how to break something may not be in tune with what you do. So then you need to take it apart. Okay, this is what I was told that I should do, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. Okay, well then how do you change it? How do you make it into you? So our life has different events. Childhood. How was your childhood? Was there negativity? Okay, write that down. Good, bad. Teen years. How was that? Was that any better? Then 20s, that's usually getting out of college, getting out all that kind of stuff. How was that? I mean, I know my happiest time was in college because it was free. But I could have done things differently. Looking at it now, sure, anybody would look at that and see how they could do things differently since they were younger. But there's certain aspects of it that, yeah, I would have, but I wasn't in that mindset. I wasn't in that certain way there were so many other issues. And your first job, starting to work, you know, the people that you've met, have they had influence on you? I mean, are you sorry for things that either you said or other people said to you? I mean, you can't change other people, but you can look at things as a growing experience. Okay, that happened in the past, not now. There's so many things we can do to improve without having to go to a doctor, without having to. I mean, doctors are great, but we don't have to run to a doctor. We can just look in the mirror, and even better, we can, again, journal it out. Write out that crap. Write it out and really look at it. But we're molded by our experiences. And I want to get that understanding out because so many people are in the midst of so much stress that they're forgetting they can have some control over certain aspects of stress even. Because once it gets inside you and builds and explodes, you're in trouble. You are. You have to take that time out to get yourself down. And I mean time out, not just let me calm down, no. You need to sit down and look at your body responses and look at what you're doing with it. What are you doing with this? Are you holding it on? Don't hold it in your heart? Are you going to get rid of it? Because it's going to affect your family too. Because when you get home, what's going to happen? Bam! It comes out. It's going to stick with you. And then bam! It comes out. And then physically, it will hurt you. Because when they say stress kills, it's a truth. Stress can cause your heart to go into arrhythmias. Stress can do so much more than we are even aware of. And that goes back to food choices. If I'm stressed, I want something sweet. Something out of the norm, sweet. Why? Because that's just that's the old behavior. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, so it's going to be like, bam, gotta have that sweet. Bam. I, thank God, have fruit. So I'll gorge myself with fruit sometimes. But yeah, sometimes you want that something. It happens. But it's what are you actually going to substitute if it's a bad thing? That's the bottom line. You have to have some kind of backup plan to get through the bad times. And I found that cleaning out everything and just putting the good stuff and the emergency stuff, that chocolate I can eat because I'm gluten sensitive, things like that. And you have something as a go-to. You have a person that's a go-to that you can say, let's go out, let's do something, I can't do this anymore. A buffer, someone that you can, but you have to be careful because that person can absorb what you have. I know it's going to sound weird. When women are together, or even people are together in a household, everybody's cycle all goes around the same time. It's kind of unique and strange, but it happens. That's emotions too. They coincide. So if you're listening to somebody, you have to watch to gauge yourself not to absorb anything negative, because it can be catching. It's very strange to say, but if have you noticed, if you have somebody stressed out yelling at you, you want to yell back, and you yell with emotion, you don't want to catch that. So it's very interesting. So if you can get yourself in a good place, you have that buffer, and you can see, oh, that's going to absorb me, I can't. And you can have that radar. That goes back to the radar. That goes back to the red flags. When you get filled up with good, it's a good day. When you get filled up with good and it's tainted with bad, it builds. And you have to watch your levels. You have to watch building. You have to take stock of yourself. That's what goes back to either A, journaling, or B, just getting to know your moods and how you tolerate things. Because you can tell if you're not tolerating things when, say, you're going across a day and your kids do something that tried your nerves. Do you go off on them? Or can you sit down and look at the situation, look what happened, and say, okay, and take a deep breath? Because that timing, even on the road, that timing, if you can't take that, if you can't take people cutting you off, if you can't take, then there's something wrong. There's something wrong with your stress level, that you can't take a deep breath and say, okay, they're going. That's on me. They're going. That's them. They cut me off. Okay. Okay. Sticking up the middle finger or yelling and screaming is not going to make them get what they just did. It's not going to resolve anything. It's just going to make you more in a tizzy, and it's going to keep in your head going, oh, oh, oh. And then you can get yourself in an accident or cut people off or do something wrong and not even realize it's because of that one little event, because you're not in control. The world's out of control right now. Do you hear? I mean, you see it on social media all the time. Attacking, yelling, screaming, badgering, harassing, because it's just not right. Okay, fine, it's not right. Situations. What can you do? I knock them off of my Facebook, or I put them on pause, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Stop. But if it's someone that you're not real close with anyway, you could take off whatever they're doing, and if you have to block them, get them away from you. Just don't be influenced by it. Don't let that dictate who you are as a person. But that seems to be nowadays with social media. It dictates you. It doesn't say, hey, have an open mind. No, it's you have to be this way. You have to. And subconsciously ban. It influence. So life is amazing. People are amazing. But our makeup, we are such intelligent, beautiful people. We have this genius to us. I mean, look at computers. Look at technology. Look at, as a whole. Look at what we can do. But then look at what's still there. Like diseases like cancer. People dying from diseases that are come back now. But that has to do again with how food is made. How food is produced. Oh, we make it pretty. We'll put dyes in it to make it. But how's that affecting you? So life is changing, and we've got to look for us and what works for us. And if you have to advocate, advocate. If you have to write to the company and say, hey, write to the company. But you deserve to live a full, happy, healthy life. And you can. But it starts with those little small little things. That's all. Little small little things and build up and build up and build up. That's all. It's easier said than done, but when you start and you start on a quest, you start nitpicking the little things and chipping away, you can make a beautiful sculpture. A beautiful. I just look at the hammer and the chisel, and each time you can look and go, I was there, but now I'm there. Look at that creation. Look at that creation. It's exciting. Get excited. Get excited to live. Get excited because you're worth it. You're worth it. And I love you guys. You're worth it. So, you know, we're all here together. So let's work together and be together.